The big room fell silent. 20 alien leaders sat around a round table, all looking at the main screen. Captain Lara Wilson stood alone, the only human in the room. She tried to stay calm as the image on the screen changed. "What is the meaning of this?" asked Fleet Admiral Khazatral. His blue skin seemed to darken with anger. His 4 eyes narrowed as he looked at Lara. The screen showed a black ship. It had just appeared near the edge of the Proxima star system. No one had seen it coming. It had no markings that anyone could see. "I don't know, Admiral," said Lara. Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking. "That is not an Earth ship." The alien leaders started talking all at once. Some stood up, pointing at the screen. Others turned to look at Lara with distrust. "Silence," shouted Admiral Khazatral. The room became quiet again. "Captain Wilson, your people signed the Treaty of Six Suns. That treaty says no cloaking technology is allowed. Yet here we see a ship that just appeared out of nowhere. It looks like human design." Lara shook her head. "Admiral, I swear to you, the United Earth Alliance has no ships with cloaking abilities. We follow the treaty." The strange ship was beautiful in a scary way. It was long and black, with no visible engines. Blue lights ran along its side like rivers of energy. It was almost a kilometer long, bigger than any human ship Lara had ever seen. "It responds to no signals," said a thin alien with gray skin. She touched controls on the table. "We have tried all standard frequencies." Commander Alex Morgan stood at the back of the room. He was part of Lara's team, there to help with security questions. His small communication device buzzed in his pocket. No one else could hear it. He slowly took it out and looked at the message. The message read, "The Phoenix has returned. Tell no one." Alex felt cold. He knew that name from old stories told by veteran officers late at night. Stories they weren't supposed to tell. Stories about secret projects and ships that vanished. "Perhaps," said an alien with features like a cat. "The humans have been hiding things from the Council." Lara stood tall. "The United Earth Alliance hides nothing from its allies. A new alert sounded. The strange ship was moving. "It's heading toward us," said the gray alien. "Speed is impossible. Our sensors must be wrong." Alex watched the screen as the black ship grew larger. It moved so fast that the stars behind it seemed to blur. No human ship could move like that. No alien ship either, as far as he knew. Admiral Khazatral stood up. "Battle stations, all ships prepare defensive positions." "Wait," Lara said. "Let's not jump to conclusions. It hasn't shown any hostile intent." "Yet," said the Admiral. The room's lights dimmed as the Galactic Council ship went to high alert. Red emergency lights came on. The alien leaders were being led to a safer room. "Captain Wilson, your presence is required in the safe chamber," said a security officer. "I'm staying here," Lara said. "I need to see what this ship does." Alex moved closer to her. "Captain, I think I know something about this vessel." Lara looked at him with surprise. "What? How could you?" Before Alex could answer, the screen changed again. The black ship had stopped, just 5 kilometers from the Council ship. It was so close that they could see every detail of its strange hull. The blue energy lines pulsed like a heartbeat. "Incoming transmission," announced a communication officer. "It's directed only at the human delegation." Admiral Khazatral, who was about to leave the room, turned around. "What? Only the humans?" "Yes, sir, the signal is locked to human communication protocols only." "Put it through," Lara said, her voice firm. "This is outrageous," shouted the Admiral. "No private communications are allowed during a security alert." The screen changed again. Now it showed the inside of a ship. The design looked human, but more advanced than anything in the current fleet. A woman in a dark uniform stood there. Her uniform had no markings that Lara recognized. "This is Captain Elena Jackson of the UES Phoenix," the woman said. "I need to speak with the human representatives immediately. Earth is in danger. The entire galaxy is in danger." "UES," whispered Lara. "United Earth ship?" That designation hasn't been used in 50 years. Alex looked at the woman on the screen. Her face was tired, with scars that told of battles fought. Her eyes held a look that Alex had seen before, in soldiers who had seen too much death. "Captain Jackson," said Lara. "I am Captain Lara Wilson, diplomatic representative of the United Earth Alliance. Where did you come from? What danger are you talking about?" Captain Jackson looked around as if checking who else was in the room. "Not over an open channel. We need to meet in person, just the human delegation." The aliens in the room erupted in angry shouts. "No," said Admiral Kezatral. "This is clearly a human plot. No private meetings." Captain Jackson's face hardened. "Admiral Kezatral, the Void Harbingers are returning. You have exactly 30 minutes to allow this meeting or the information dies with us." The room went silent. The Void Harbingers were just a myth, a scary story told to children. Ancient evil from beyond the stars. Not real. But Admiral Kezatral's four eyes widened in shock. "How do you know that name?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. 30 minutes, Captain Jackson repeated. Then the screen went dark. Alex and Lara looked at each other. Whatever was happening, it was bigger than either of them had imagined. Earth's place in the galaxy might depend on what they did next. And somewhere in the back of Alex's mind, a question burned. How did a ship with an old Earth designation know an alien myth that made even the mighty Admiral Kezatral afraid? The red dust of Mars swirled around the dome of Research Station Alpha. Dr. Olivia Barnes slept in her small room, dreaming of Earth's blue skies. A loud beeping woke her. She reached for her communication device. "Barnes here," she said, her voice still heavy with sleep. "Olivia, it's Kevin. You need to come to Dig Site 12 right now." Dr. Kevin Rodriguez sounded excited and scared at the same time. Olivia sat up. "Kevin, it's the middle of the night. This can't wait. Trust me." 20 minutes later, Olivia walked through the underground tunnel that led to Dig Site 12. The site was deep below Olympus Mons, the biggest mountain in the solar system. For 3 years, her team had been digging here, uncovering ruins that no one could explain. Kevin was waiting for her. His eyes were wide, and he hadn't combed his hair. "Look," he said, pointing at a wall they had uncovered yesterday. Olivia turned on her flashlight and aimed it at the wall. What she saw made her step back in surprise. The wall was covered with pictures carved into the stone. They showed a large black ship with blue lines of light running along its sides. "It's just like the news reports," Kevin said. "The ship that appeared at Proxima." Olivia touched the carving. "This is impossible. These ruins are at least 50,000 years old. Humans didn't have spaceships back then. We were still living in caves on Earth." Kevin nodded. "Exactly. So how did they know about this ship? And look at this." He moved his light to show more carvings. They showed strange, dark shapes with many limbs attacking planets. Then the black ship appeared, fighting them off. "Whatever this ship is," Kevin said, "it's been here before." Back on the Galactic Council ship, Commander Alex Morgan followed Captain Lara Wilson to a small meeting room. Admiral Kezatral had argued for an hour before finally allowing the humans to meet with Captain Jackson of the mysterious Phoenix, but he insisted that the meeting be recorded. "I don't like this," Lara said quietly to Alex. "If that ship really is using cloaking technology, we could be blamed for breaking the treaty." "Captain," Alex said, "there's something you should know. That message I received." The door opened. 2 security officers led in a woman. It was Captain Elena Jackson from the screen, but she looked even more tired in person. Her uniform was strange, black with silver lines and a patch on the shoulder showing a bird rising from flames. "Captain Wilson, Commander Morgan," she said. "Thank you for meeting me." The security officers left, but everyone knew cameras were watching. "Captain Jackson," Lara said, "you need to explain yourself. Where did your ship come from? Why does it use technology that looks like cloaking devices which are forbidden by treaty?" Jackson looked at them for a long moment. "What I'm about to tell you will sound impossible, but Earth's future depends on you believing me." She took a deep breath. The Phoenix is from 30 years in your future. We used experimental time displacement technology to come back. Lara laughed. Time travel? That's your explanation? I know how it sounds, Jackson said. But look at this. She took out a small device and placed it on the table. It projected a hologram showing Earth. But this Earth was partly destroyed, with large pieces missing from North America and Asia. This is Earth in my time, Jackson said. After the Void Harbingers came. Alex felt cold again. The same Void Harbingers you mentioned to Admiral Khazatral? Jackson nodded. Most people think they're just old stories. But they're real. And they're coming back. In my timeline, they attacked Earth first, then spread to the other worlds. The Galactic Council didn't believe us until it was too late. Lara still looked doubtful. If you're from the future, prove it. Tell us something that will happen soon, something we can verify. In 3 days, the star Deneb will go supernova, Jackson said. No one expects it because it shouldn't happen for another 1,000,000 years. That's the first sign the Harbingers are returning. The door suddenly opened. A woman in an Earth Alliance admiral's uniform walked in. She was older, with gray hair and a face lined with wrinkles. Admiral Foster, Lara said in surprise. I didn't know you were on board. I came as soon as I heard about the Phoenix. Admiral, Natalie Foster said. Her voice was tired, like she hadn't slept in days. Jackson stood up straighter. Admiral. Foster looked at her with sad eyes. At ease, Captain. How bad is it? Worse than we feared, Jackson said. The timeline is accelerated. They're already here hiding. Alex looked between the two women. You know each other? Admiral, what's going on? Foster sighed. The Phoenix was part of a top-secret project. We've been preparing for the Harbinger's return for decades. Only a few people know the truth. The truth about what? Lara demanded. About humanity's real history, Foster said. We didn't evolve naturally on Earth. We came there 50,000 years ago, after the first war with the Harbingers. We hid our technology and tried to start over, hoping they wouldn't find us again. On Mars, Olivia and Kevin continued studying the wall carvings. As they cleared away more dust, they found something else. Detailed drawings that looked like engine plans. These look like blueprints, Kevin said. Olivia nodded. For the ship and the carvings, but why would ancient people carve engine plans into a wall? Kevin moved his light to show more drawings. Maybe because they wanted us to find them someday. Look, there are more rooms beyond this wall. And these symbols here? He pointed to strange markings. Can you read them? Olivia asked. Not all of them, but this part seems to be counting years. He ran his finger along a line of symbols. If I'm right, it's counting down to something. And according to this, his voice trailed off. According to this what? Olivia asked. Kevin looked up at her, his face pale in the dim light. According to this, the countdown ends now. As if responding to his words, the carved ship on the wall began to glow with blue light. The same blue light they had seen in the news reports of the mysterious ship. The ground under them trembled. Dust fell from the ceiling, and deep below them, something ancient began to wake up. The main meeting room of the Galactic Council ship was filled with angry voices. Alien leaders shouted over each other. Some stood and pointed at the human delegation. This is an outrage, said Ambassador Zix of the Zithran people. His scaled skin turned bright red with anger. The humans speak privately with this mysterious ship while we are kept in the dark. Admiral Khazatral raised all 4 of his hands. Silence, we will have order. The room quieted, but the tension remained. Captain Lara Wilson stood beside Commander Alex Morgan. They had just returned from their meeting with Captain Jackson and Admiral Foster. Captain Wilson, said Admiral Khazatral, you will explain what was discussed in your private meeting. Lara stepped forward. The ship that appeared, the Phoenix, claims to be from Earth's future. They say they have come back in time to warn us about a threat called the Void Harbingers. Laughter filled the room. Only Admiral Khazatral didn't laugh. Time travel? Ambassador Zix said with a sneer. Do you take us for fools? I understand your doubts, Lara said. I had them too. But Captain Jackson has made a prediction we can test. She says the star Deneb will explode in 3 days. The gray-skinned alien who controlled the sensors spoke up. That is impossible. Deneb is not due to go supernova for another 1,000,000 years. Then, we wait 3 days, Lara said. If she's right about this, we should listen to her other warnings. Admiral Kazistral nodded slowly. 3 days. But the Phoenix must remain where it is under our watch. A new alarm sounded. The sensor operator looked at her screens. The Phoenix is requesting permission to send a shuttle to this ship. They say they have evidence to share. Denied, shouted Ambassador Zix, but Admiral Kazatral overruled him. Permission granted, but the shuttle will be searched for weapons. An hour later, Captain Jackson arrived on the council ship with 2 crew members. They brought several sealed containers. After the security team checked everything, they were allowed into a secure room with the council leaders and the human delegation. "Thank you for seeing us," Captain Jackson said. Her voice was steady, but her eyes kept moving, watching everyone carefully. "Show us this evidence," Admiral Kazatral said. Jackson nodded to one of her crew, who opened a container. Inside was a strange device with a glowing blue center. "This is a void spore detector," Jackson explained. "In my time, we developed it too late. The Harbingers had already infected many worlds." She turned the device on. It hummed softly, then projected a beam of light that swept across the room. When the light passed over Ambassador Zix, the device made a loud beeping noise. The light turned red and focused on him. "What is the meaning of this?" Zix demanded. "You're infected," Jackson said simply. "The first stage of void spore infection. You probably don't even know it." The room erupted in chaos. Security officers moved to surround Zix, who backed away in shock. "This is a human trick," he shouted. "I assure you it's not," Jackson said. She pointed the device at different people in the room. It beeped again when it passed over 2 other aliens, members of different species. "The spores can infect any life form," Jackson explained. "They're microscopic, nearly undetectable with current technology. They enter through the lungs and slowly change the host's mind." Admiral Kazatral looked troubled. "Changed how?" "The infected become servants of the Harbingers," Jackson said. "When the invasion begins, they help from inside. Sabotage, assassination, opening defense systems." She put the device down and took out a small screen. "This is Earth, 30 years from now." The screen showed images of ruined cities, strange, black ships in the sky, and people with black veins running across their skin. The Harbingers don't just destroy, they corrupt. They twist life into new forms that serve them. No one spoke for a long moment. "If what you say is true," Admiral Kazatral said finally, "why would they attack Earth first? There are older, more advanced worlds." Captain Jackson looked at Lara and Alex. "Because humans are the only ones who can stop them." On Mars, Olivia and Kevin were trapped. The tremor had caused a cave-in, blocking the tunnel back to the research station. They had no choice but to go deeper into the ruins. "The signal isn't getting through," Olivia said, trying her communication device again. "Too much rock between us and the surface." Kevin nodded. His flashlight showed a tunnel ahead leading down. The walls were covered with more carvings. "We need to find another way out." They walked in silence for a while. The tunnel sloped down, taking them deeper under the surface of Mars. "Look," Kevin said suddenly. His light had found the end of the tunnel. It opened into a vast space. They stepped out onto a platform overlooking a huge underground chamber. Their lights couldn't reach the other side or the ceiling. "This is impossible," Olivia whispered. "How could ancient people build something this big?" As they watched, blue lights began to appear along the walls of the chamber, just like the blue energy on the mysterious ship. The lights spread, revealing the true size of the place. It was enormous, bigger than any human-made structure Olivia had ever seen. In the center of the chamber stood a ship. It was identical to the Phoenix that had appeared at Proxima, but it was clearly ancient, covered in dust. "It's been here all this time," Kevin said in wonder. "Waiting." Olivia's light caught something else, a body on the floor near the ship. No, not a body. A skeleton in some kind of spacesuit. The suit design was strange, neither human nor alien. "Kevin," she said, her voice shaking. "What if we're not finding alien ruins? What if we're finding our own past?" Before Kevin could answer, the ship's lights came on. A door opened in its side. A voice spoke from nowhere in perfect English. "Genetic profile recognized, human presence detected, activation sequence initiated. The Phoenix Protocol is now in effect." Olivia and Kevin looked at each other in shock. The ship had been waiting for humans to find it. But why? And what was the Phoenix Protocol? All around them, the ancient machinery began to wake up. Captain Lara Wilson paced in her small room on the Galactic Council ship. 3 infected council members had been put in quarantine. Ambassador Zix was the most vocal, still claiming it was all a human trick. The door chimed. Commander Alex Morgan entered looking worried. "We have a problem," he said. "Admiral Kazatral just received a message from the Zalorian Empire. They're sending a battle fleet to Earth as a safety measure until this situation is resolved." Lara stopped pacing. "A battle fleet? That's not a safety measure, that's preparing for war." "Captain Jackson wants to see us," Alex said. "She says this happened in her timeline too." They walked quickly to the secure room where Jackson was, being kept. Admiral Foster was already there, talking quietly with the time traveler. "Captain Wilson, Commander Morgan," Jackson said when they entered. "I've been showing Admiral Foster our records from the future." "The Zalorians are sending ships to Earth," Lara said. "What does that mean?" Jackson's face grew grim. "In my timeline, that action was the beginning of the end. The Earth Alliance saw it as a threat and prepared for war. The Zalorians saw our preparations and attacked first. While we fought each other, the Harbingers came. We never had a chance." "We need to stop this," Lara said. "But how? If we tell the Council about time travel, they'll never believe us." "The spore detector is proof enough," Admiral Foster said. "But we need more. We need to explain the Phoenix, without revealing time travel." Alex had been quiet thinking. Now he spoke up. "What if we tell them the Phoenix is using technology recovered from the Mars ruins? Not time travel, just ancient human tech that we've kept secret." Lara looked at him. "That's still breaking Council law. Hiding advanced technology is against the treaty." "But it's more believable than time travel," Alex pointed out. "And it might be partly true if what's happening on Mars is connected to all this." Admiral Foster nodded slowly. "It could work. We'd still be in trouble for hiding the technology, but it might prevent war." Captain Jackson didn't look convinced. "Even if you avoid war with the Zalorians, you'll still need to prepare for the Harbingers. How will you do that without revealing the whole truth?" No one had an answer. On Mars, Olivia and Kevin stood before the ancient ship. Its door was open, waiting. "Should we go in?" Kevin asked, his voice echoing in the vast chamber. Olivia hesitated. "It recognized our DNA. It was waiting for humans. I think we're meant to go in." They stepped inside the ship. It was dark at first, then soft blue lights came on, showing a corridor. They followed it to what looked like a control room. The design was both familiar and strange. Some parts looked like modern human technology, but others were completely alien. A hologram appeared. In the center of the room, a man in an old-style uniform. His image flickered. "If you are seeing this, then the Harbingers have returned," the hologram said. "I am Captain Daniel West of the United Earth ship Phoenix. Original mission date 2547. 2547, Olivia whispered. "That's over 500 years in the future." The hologram continued. "Our mission was to evacuate survivors after the Harbinger invasion. We failed. Earth fell. In desperation, we used experimental technology to jump back in time. $50,000 years. We hope to prepare ancient Earth for the coming threat." The hologram showed images of strange ships attacking Earth cities. The scenes were horrible. Then it showed the Phoenix and other ships escaping. We arrived in Earth's past, but we were followed. The Harbingers sent their own ships back. We fought them here, on Mars, and won. But our ship was damaged beyond repair. We knew we couldn't return to our time. Kevin and Olivia looked at each other in shock. The hologram showed people in old uniforms building structures on Earth, teaching early humans. We settled on Earth. We became your ancestors. We hid technology in safe places like this base on Mars. If you found this message, it means the cycle is happening again. The harbingers are returning. The hologram changed to show technical diagrams. This ship contains all our knowledge, weapons, shields, faster than light travel, things your civilization hasn't discovered yet. Use them. Save Earth, break the cycle. The hologram disappeared. In its place, a computer console lit up, showing files and diagrams. This is impossible, Kevin said. This changes all of human history. Olivia was already looking at the files. Look at this. Plans for quantum displacement drives, energy shields, and this. She pointed to a file labeled Void Spore Detection. The same technology the Phoenix is using at Proxima, Kevin said. They must have found another base like this one. A new tremor shook the chamber. Dust fell from the ceiling. We need to get this information back to Earth, Olivia said. But how? We're trapped down here. The console began to flash. A message appeared. External threat detected. Defensive systems activating. On the Galactic Council ship, alarms suddenly blared. The sensor operator looked at her screens in confusion. Something's happening on Mars, she reported. Massive energy readings from below the surface near Olympus Mons. On the main screen, they watched as the surface of Mars seemed to split open. A huge section of the planet's crust moved aside, revealing a deep shaft. From inside, blue light poured out. What is that? Admiral Khazatral demanded. No one answered. They all watched as something rose from the opening, a massive structure made of black metal, with the same blue energy lines as the Phoenix. It's a defense platform, Captain Jackson said quietly. Like the ones we built in my time. A communication officer spoke up. Sir, we're receiving reports from Earth. Similar structures are emerging from under the oceans, from deep valleys, from beneath the ice in Antarctica. Lara looked at Alex. Our ancestors left us weapons, she said. The question is, will we have time to learn how to use them? On the other side of the room, Ambassador Zix watched the screen with black eyes that reflected no light at all. His fingers tapped a message on a hidden device. They know. Begin now. Chaos filled the Galactic Council ship. Alarms blared as sensors detected new objects in space. Admiral Khazatral barked orders while the alien delegates argued loudly. Silence, the Admiral shouted. Our sensors are detecting ships. Hundreds of them appearing at the edge of the system. On the main screen, black ships with strange shapes appeared. They looked like twisted versions of normal ships, with parts that moved in ways that hurt the eyes. The harbingers, Captain Jackson said. Her voice was quiet, but everyone heard her. They're here earlier than in my timeline. Captain Lara Wilson looked at the screen with growing dread. How did they get here so fast? They were already here, Commander Alex Morgan said. He pointed to Ambassador Zix and the other quarantined aliens. The spores aren't just for spying, they're beacons. They called the harbingers here. As if responding to his words, Ambassador Zix began to change. His skin bulged and shifted. Black veins spread across his face. His eyes turned completely black. The other infected aliens changed too, their bodies twisting into new shapes. Security officers fired stun weapons at them, but the weapons had no effect. Get everyone out, Admiral Khazatral ordered. Seal the quarantine section. As people ran, from the room Zix spoke in a voice that wasn't his anymore. It was deep and echoing like many voices speaking together. Your weapons are useless, your defenses will fall. This cycle ends like all the others, with your extinction. On Mars, Olivia and Kevin watched on the ship's screens as the Harbinger fleet approached. The ancient Phoenix had connected to Earth's communication systems, letting them see everything that was happening. Look at all those ships, Kevin said. How can we fight so many? Olivia was studying the control panels. The defense platforms are online, but they won't be enough. We need to use this ship. But we don't know how to fly it. We don't need to. Olivia pointed to the captain's chair. The ship's computer can fly itself, it just needs authorization from someone with human DNA. That's us. Kevin looked doubtful. Even if that's true, what can one ship do against hundreds? Olivia pressed buttons on the console. A new hologram appeared, showing the ship's weapon systems. This isn't just any ship. According to these files, it's the only ship that ever defeated the Harbingers. And now we have two of them. This one, and the one that came back with Captain Jackson. She sat in the captain's chair. Computer, initiate launch sequence. Target, Proxima system. The ship's engines hummed to life. Dust fell from its hull as it moved for the first time in 50,000 years. On the Galactic Council ship, Captain Jackson was explaining the Harbingers to Admiral Khazatral and the remaining delegates. They're not just aliens from another world. They're from another reality. They feed on chaos and fear. Every time they attack, it's the same plan: infiltrate first with spores, then turn allies against each other, then attack when we're fighting among ourselves. Admiral Khazatral looked grim. The Zilorian fleet is still heading to Earth. I cannot call them back without authority from my leaders. Then Earth will face enemies on two sides, Admiral Foster said. A communication officer interrupted. Sir, the Phoenix is asking to address the entire council, including all ships in the system. Allow it, Khazatral said. Captain Jackson stepped forward as the screen changed to show her crew on the Phoenix. What I'm about to show you will change everything you believe about human history. The screen split to show images from Mars, the ruins, the ancient ship, the holographic message from Captain West. Humans aren't newcomers to galactic society, Jackson said. We were here before. We fought the Harbingers 50,000 years ago and won, but at a terrible cost. We had to start over, to rebuild our civilization from the beginning. The council chamber was silent as everyone watched. The Phoenix didn't come from a secret human project. It came from Earth's future. A future where we all failed to work together. Where the Zilorians attacked Earth, where Earth fought back, and where the Harbingers destroyed us all while we fought each other. Admiral Khazatral looked stunned. Time travel? But that's impossible. No more impossible than the Harbingers themselves, Jackson said. No more impossible than what's happening on Mars right now. The screen showed the ancient Phoenix rising from the Martian surface, glowing with blue energy. It was joining defense platforms that now orbited the red planet. This technology doesn't belong to humans alone, Jackson continued. In my timeline, it was developed by all our species working together, in the final days before the end. It represents our last, best hope. A new alarm sounded. The Harbinger ships were moving toward them. We have to stand together, Jackson said, or we all die together. The battle began suddenly. The Harbinger ships attacked without warning, firing strange energy beams that seemed to bend space itself. The Council ships fought back, but their weapons did little damage. The defense platforms from Mars fired blue beams that cut through the Harbinger ships, but there were too many enemy vessels. The ancient Phoenix rose from Mars, joining Captain Jackson's Phoenix from the future. Together, they flew into the heart of the Harbinger fleet. On the ancient ship, Olivia and Kevin held onto their seats as the vessel moved with impossible speed. They weren't flying it, the ship was flying itself, carrying out a battle plan created 50,000 years ago. Look. Kevin pointed to the screen. The two Phoenix ships were glowing brighter, their blue energy patterns pulsing in sync. Between them, a field of energy was forming, expanding outward. It's the same technology they used to time travel, Olivia realized. But they're using it as a weapon. On the Council ship, Captain Lara Wilson, Commander Alex Morgan, and Admiral Foster watched in awe as the energy field expanded, engulfing Harbinger ships. Where it touched them, the twisted vessels seemed to freeze, then slowly fade away, as if they were being pushed out of reality. They're not destroying them, Admiral Foster said. They're sending them back to their own dimension. The battle raged for hours. Many Council ships were lost. But the Phoenix vessels never stopped. Their ancient technology working perfectly after 50,000 years. Finally, the last Harbinger ship vanished. The energy field collapsed. Both Phoenix ships floated in space, their blue lights dim. Admiral Kuzatral ordered the Zolorian fleet to stand down. This enemy was greater than any differences between their people. In the quiet after the battle, Captain Jackson's voice came over the communication system. "We've won today, but this is just the beginning. The Harbingers will return. They always do. This time, we need to be ready. Together." On their screens, they saw Earth, beautiful and blue, with defense platforms now orbiting it like new moons. Humanity's forgotten legacy was awake again, ready to defend not just Earth but all worlds. Humanity had come full circle. Once protectors of the galaxy, they would be again.